Hello, hello, it's Blue coming to you live from the Hollywood sign. And today we have yet another episode of Top Cut Talk. Joining us will be none other than Dobby, who was able to take the hero Afanas, with the help of some unique spindle harvesters, to a finals appearance in the recent ExAlts Celebration Season 2 tournament. Myself and my stupendous co-commentator for the event, a guy trying, get to ask the finalist questions directly after his finals match about choices in gameplay, why the bald man is his favorite hero, and what the motivation was to wake up at 1 a.m. to play in a European-based altar tournament when he lives in the US. All that and more for your viewing pleasure. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, as well as check out the live broadcasts for this event on my channel that I was able to commentate thanks to the ExAlts team. Until next time, I'll see you in play for the next day. Hey Dobby, why don't you say hello to everyone?
Hello?
Hey, Dobby.
Hello, we can hear
Hey,
you.
fellas. How y'all doing?
Doing all
Not
right.
too
How about
bad,
yourself? How you feeling?
Yeah, that was a close one there.
Uh, so, uh, give us just your feelings about the um tournament overall. How do you think you did? What anything exciting that happened other than getting second place?
Yeah, second place was cool. Obviously bummed I didn't get the win, but it was close. I knew it was going to be close going in with it being a mirror match. Tournament overall was rad. Um, Started off with a loss yesterday in the Swiss rounds, so that was a little spooky, but then won out for the rest of the day. I think I played 3 Sigismar yesterday, and gosh, what were the rest? I know I went 2-1 against the Sigismar, and then gosh, I can't even remember the other matchups. But yeah, tournament was good overall. It's been a little weird because I'm in California and the time change has been wonky,
I
but
was gonna say.
yeah, I had to show up for NA. I think I was the only NA player in the tournament, so I'm glad I could top 2, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
Dobby, uh, Blue and I are both NA,
Hmm.
so we thank you.
Y'all are right there with me.
Yeah,
Uh,
shout outs to 9 a.m. right now for us over here in California, right?
Yep, yeah. Today wasn't as bad waking up super early, but yesterday was like 2 hours of sleep and then played Swiss round and then like got a few more hours of sleep. So yesterday was weird for sure, but today's fine.
I was gonna say I'm on the East Coast, so it's noon for me. I'm fine.
Yeah, you got it
um,
easy, man.
I will say, we are. I've been working with the ExAlts team, and we are hoping at some point early 2025 to be running celebration days for NA as well in NA time
Oh,
zones.
cool. Well, I'll be
We
there.
know currently most of a lot. There's a large player base that's very excited in Europe, so we were working on that first, but we do want to bring it to NA as well.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, I know the game, I guess maybe with Equinox being a French company, but I know the game is more popular in Europe and I've seeked out, some local game nights by me, but nothing at this scale or like, kind of the competitive environment that a European tournament brings. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely why I seeked it out, but if there's something NA side, I'll check it out too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely a few questions for you, but I'll start off
Sure.
with what was the decision behind bringing Afanas to this tournament, opposed other than the fact that you have 3 spindle harvesters that kind of do some
Yeah.
stuff that you like in
That's
Afanas?
yeah, that's been a long time coming. I've been uh I guess the term would be I've been maining Afanis pretty much since I started playing the game. Like initially messed around with some Muna stuff, but very quickly I landed on Afanis. This is pre Robin Hood nerf when everyone's playing Waru, just because I liked the style of gameplay that Afanis brought to the table. Um, so that was really just me bringing a deck that I've been playing since I picked up the game that I liked. Whether it was considered one of the best or not was not really part of the question. It was more so I enjoyed the gameplay. The 3 spindle harvesters obviously add to the competitiveness of the deck. It's been a while trying to assemble those. I think I'm in a pretty good place. There's like slight, margin for optimization with my 2/2 spindle harvester, but that's been like, probably 2 months of looking now, and yeah, just lots of messages on Discord to folks in the marketplace. But yeah, that's why I brought Afanas. Sorry, what was the other question?
I didn't ask it. I was just saying I know I
Oh,
have a
okay.
few of them over in general. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff we could get into as far as like your deck list in general. But like one thing I wanted to mention as well, I'm also out in California, but like the idea of especially day one in the Swiss, like was playing that early/late for you for that many hours going into the idea of little to no sleep. Did that affect you at all? I mean, obviously you did well enough to make the top cut, but what was that like for you overall?
No, thankfully I had coffee ready to go, and I don't think it I don't think it messed with me. Honestly, I probably played better yesterday than I did today. And yeah, no, I honestly I don't think the time difference really messed with me. It was kind of nice waking up and it just being absolute silence and quiet and just being able to only focus on the game. Um, so yeah, no, I don't really think that messed with me too much.
So, before we get into the deck list, and I do have some questions about the deck list. Is
Yeah.
there did you have experience in like other card games? Like what's your background?
Yeah. So like TCGs and CCGs are my favorite genre of game, I would say by far. Um, have played a few, some at higher levels than others, but like I've played Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra, smaller game called Faria, a little bit of Shadowverse. So mainly in the digital space. So then when I saw Altered, pretty much when it launched, it caught my eye because it was kind of that perfect combination of having the digital and physical aspects. And I love the idea of like getting into a physical card game, but like Magic the Gathering, I played Magic the Gathering Arena a little bit online, but it was like just a bit daunting. I feel like any game that's been around that long, it's just like it didn't feel like there was as much opportunity to kind of explore and like pioneer. Whereas like a new game, there's obviously, nobody knows what they're doing. So you can just have more fun with it, in my opinion. So yeah, this is kind of my first physical card game that I've really gotten into. And then mainly I've dabbled with digital card games at pretty high levels. Like I've done, I've done the grind to legend in Hearthstone over probably a dozen times.
I'm sorry.
And oh, you're good. And yeah, Legends of Runeterra, I did the grind to master in like I don't even know 2 weeks or something. So yeah, I don't know. I like playing card games, and I like playing them competitively.
Nice.
That's fun. One of the things I guess we can get into a little bit as far as like the deck list is concerned, and I think we mentioned it as far as the differences between your deck list compared to some of the other Afanas is the
Yeah.
idea of running blade dancers, common magical trainings, and then even some meditation trainings. Was there anything in particular as far as like those decisions? I guess specifically the blade dancer, when it feels like a lot of other Afanases are removing it from their deck lists, on why you did that?
Yeah, I've played gosh, yeah. My deck list is called V4 at the end of it, but I realistically think it's probably like V12 or something. I've gone through so many versions of this list. Honestly, I'm still deciding probably between running an additional meditation training and cutting either a blade dancer or a sneezer shroom or leaving it as is. I can't tell which one I like better. But yeah, I think there's like a few components to talk on. The Baba Yaga, I'm running a common version. A lot of these lists are running rare versions. I could see the argument for a more aggressive list wanting to run a rare version, but I think generally speaking, I haven't found the added benefit of it. Rare, magic training, the draw a card spell, same thing there. It's an additional, mana you save when you run the rare version, but the upsides for me haven't been huge, which is why I run the common version. And then getting into the Blade Dancer, Sneezer Shroom, meditation training package. Yeah, so the way I kind of view it is, the big removal threats that are liabilities once they hit the board for me are Mage Dancer and the Spindle Harvesters, both of which, if I can get them to the board and build on them and they're super sticky, they're a win condition. They'll just start steamrolling. So knowing that, if my opponent has removal for those cards, in my mind, things like Sneezer Shroom and Blade Dancer, although they're not as, they're not as strong, I'd say, they're still forces to be reckoned with, in that if I get them to board and I start building on them, they as well can become issues to the opponent. Also, I like that Blade Dancer's 1 mana from hand. I think playing cheap things from hand is very good in this game because it shifts initiative to your opponent, and then I can play more reactively. And then meditation training, if I can stick that on a Mage Dancer, that's huge. If I can re-anchor a Spindle Harvester that doesn't have anchor, that's huge. So I love that card. It's maybe a little greedy. That's why I run 2. I'd love to run 3, but I think that's probably a little too greedy. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the logic there. I could probably get into a bit more nuance with the Sneezer Shroom and the Blade Dancer stuff, but yeah, that's kind of like the TLDR.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, a card that's gotten a lot of discussion since, before and since the Robin Hood errata is Small Step Giant Leap. We saw you draw Small Step Giant Leap 2 or 3 times in the final match, and you put it into mana every single time. Whereas I've seen other Afanases, we watched another Afanas earlier in the day who turn 2, I think, drew Small Step Giant Leap. It was like, I need to keep this in my hand. I know it's my win condition. But then we saw Naka put Small Step Giant Leap against you in this matchup. Do you keep Small Step Giant Leap in other matchups and just mana it during Afanas, or are you more okay with putting Small Step Giant Leap into mana and then knowing you'll draw one later when you need it?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing. I run 2. If I run into a situation where I've already mana'd 1 and I draw the other, it's dependent on the board state, but 9 times out of 10, and I'm keeping it. I think in the times you saw me get rid of it, I probably didn't find enough reason to keep it, in that either A, it's too early in the game and I'd rather just have the mana there to play other cards, and because I'm not going to be playing it for so long that I just, in my head, I'm assuming I'll probably draw one in the meantime. Or B, if I'm in a board state where either A, I feel like I'm too far behind, that Small Step Giant Leap just isn't going to win me the game, I'll get rid of it. Or if I feel like I'm in a board state where, like if I can double advance this turn just by playing creatures and spells, then I'll get rid of Small Step Giant Leap to free up that mana. I mean, when you play that card, yes, you get a free advance, but that's pretty much your turn, take it or leave it. So it's very hard to play Small Step Giant Leap and like have a board state where you'll double advance. So yeah, like there's no set, I think, approach to it, but I'd say usually if I'm drawing Small Step Giant Leap within the first 6 or 7 turns, usually I'm tossing it to mana because I'm just banking on drawing the other one. That's why I run 2. And sometimes if I draw both too early, I'm tossing them just because the deck's so strong that is a win condition, but it's not the only way to win, in my opinion.
For sure. And like speaking of matchups, he was talking a little bit about the Afanas beer matchup, but going into the tournament, were there any particular matchups you were looking towards that you wanted to play against, or ones that you were building your deck towards, kind of thing?
Yeah, I lost to them. I lost the first game of Swiss yesterday to Siggy. Ended up going 2-1 though, but I feel pretty strong against that matchup. I feel like there's what, 3 removal spells in their deck that are a liability, and if I can play decently around those, then usually I have a good chance of winning, just because they run really small dudes and I can just off you go them. I was worried about running into Traced, and I think that's either I think Traced or Afanas is the strongest deck right now, and I didn't run into a single Traced, so I don't know if that's a good thing or what, but I was actually very worried about that matchup. And then today I played, I forget the name of the player that was running it. I played a Sierra deck, and man, that deck is scary. Once they get down the 6 mana permanents, that's a problem. I think I might have worked through the best way to address that in that the first game I played against Sierra today, I spent the 4 mana removal spell to get rid of the permanents and ended up actually losing the game. And then game 2, they played the 6 mana permanents, and I opted to ditch my 4 mana spell to mana, and I just kind of powered through it and was able to win. So I don't know if that'll work every time, but that's going to be my new strat moving forward. And then Afanas mirror, I knew that was going to be a coin flip. Honestly, my initial draws, all 3 games in the finals was quite bad.
Yeah.
Not a single time did I draw a spindle harvester, which, if I can draw a spindle harvester with a 1 or 2 mana spell, depending on which one I have, turn 1, that really sets up the kind of machine to get going for the rest of the game. So not drawing that card in all 3 games was unfortunate. Not to say I would have, won if I had, but obviously it would have helped. But yeah, I knew that was going to be kind of a coin flip going into it. That game 2 was super close, so I was, stoked I was able to take that one and bring it to a game 3. But yeah, I mean, I'm probably a little biased, but I think Afanas, whether you're running, my variant or the way that Naka had built it, I think it's probably, a top tier deck. I think Traced is maybe the strongest, or on par with Afanas. When I play on BGA, when I run into Traced, it's never easy. So yeah,
I
will.
would agree. I would say
Yeah.
the only thing that Traced has over Afanas is that Afanas can sometimes be a bit reliant on your uniques, and Traced isn't as much. But Afanas, when you get those good uniques, ooh, feels good.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that. I think, yeah, like you said, like I think Afanas, when you draw good, it goes great, but maybe Traced feels, at least when I've played against it, I haven't played it a ton myself. When I play against it, it maybe feels a bit more consistent and less draw dependent, just because it has so many things that synergize well together, versus Afanas, which is like you really need to draw your core components for it to start popping off. I was just going to finish that thought, that, however you cut it, I do think the meta feels like it's in a healthier place post Robin Hood nerf. I'm glad to see that there's multiple, viable top tier decks now, whereas the meta a few weeks ago, when that wasn't a thing, felt a little rough. So yeah.
Definitely.
Now,
Good.
I was gonna say, moving a bit into the future, we do have Trial by Frost coming up in about 2 months. Afanis and Senka are in the promotional art for it. And another hero, Atsadi and Surge, are also in the promotional art, and we've already seen some support for Atsadi and Surge. What are you hoping Afanis gets as one of the most powerful decks in the meta right now in the next set?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not really getting my hopes too high or setting any expectations. I'm stoked for the expansion. I love the frost theme. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I don't really have any expectations for certain cards or anything that I want to see happen. I think I don't know what the actual term is. Is it like kind of expedition permanence that they're introducing to the game? I think that'll be a really interesting thing to play with. I don't know if it'll synergize with the deck or not, but that should be interesting. I'm hopeful, and I don't see a world where it wouldn't be, but I think, I think spindle harvesters will arguably be still probably one of the strongest uniques to run with that champion, regardless of the set. So I don't think that should change too much. But yeah, I don't know. Keep an open mind, and I'll have fun with it regardless.
Awesome.
Definitely. Well, last question for me is any plans in the near future as far as altered anything else you're doing? Realistically, you're out in California with me on the West Coast, where we don't have the biggest community, I guess yet. Um, Anything that you're planning on doing out here that might be interesting for the community, or just keep on playing and hopefully keep on improving on V5, V6 of the deck?
Yeah, I don't know how many more variants I can really get on until another set comes out. But yeah, no, nothing too crazy. I go to like one-ish meetups a week. There's two local game stores relatively close to me, and so between the two of those, that's where I kind of find some in-person games. Um, Starting to get a small but cool community brewing here. I keep an eye on the California altered Discord in case there's ever, anything slightly larger scale tournament wise that is uh somewhat accessible to me. Obviously nothing like too crazy far. I think I would travel to. Um would love to check it out at, PAX or whatever, but I think that's a little bit too far for me right now. But I maybe in the future, if the right, tournament presents itself, in NA, I would go check it out. Um yeah, and then I'll keep an eye on, whatever BGA stuff. I think, in terms of kind of personal, goals or whatever, I think cracking into top 10 on BGA would be cool. I got to 11 this week, and then I think I
Ooh.
dropped. I'm 19 right now, but I'm still number one NA, which is like a cool feeling to have. But I'd love to get to top 10. That's definitely a grind. So, I got to get lucky, but that's been fun. I'm really glad that that's a thing we have. And then yeah, other than that, just playing in person when I can.
Yeah, I'm at I think 460 right now, so I'm right there behind you.
There you go.
Um,
Hey, that's good. I was hard stuck at like 250, 300 for a long time, and then I just went on like a crazy 2-day win streak. I think I went like 35-0, which is like
oof.
insane. Yeah, just absolutely insane. And that's when I got to 11. Uh, then you'll see at the top of the leaderboards, the jump from like 11 to 10, at least at the time, was like, I don't even know, 20 MMR or something, which at that rank, you're only gaining like 2 to 5 MMR per game. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I took one L and dropped like, 10 places. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fun little thing to work on.
So final thing for me, is there anyone you want to shout out or say thank you to? Any place, someone uh who's interested in your thoughts? Do you have any like social media or anything you want to plug? Anything like that?
Nothing to plug. You can find me on Discord. I'm pretty active, like in the marketplace and on the subreddit as well. Um, Other than that, thanks to my wife for letting me carve out time in my day to play video games and lose sleep and sometimes take naps to make up on sleep. But yeah, other than that, I'll just be yeah, still doing what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on and getting an interview. Congrats on getting at least the second place.
Yeah.
Good tournament overall, getting into the Afanas mirror matchup. Wanted to say thanks to the ExAlts folks for putting this together. Great tournament. I was happy to be able to commentate a little bit. And thanks to my other co-caster here, a guy trying, for helping me out through the early morning, I guess, for me. But yeah, anything else you want to say?
No, just you know, thank you to the Exalts again, and thank you to Equinox for making a fun game that we all enjoy. I'm excited. I'm sure we're all excited to see what's to come in the future.
All right, then. I'll probably end the stream here. Thanks to everyone that's still watching us ramble here with Dobby. Go ahead and follow or subscribe to my stream if you want to, Blue Oak TV. I'll have some more videos every week. May even make this into a video. Who knows? Either way, goodbye, everyone. Have a good rest of your night/morning/ wherever you are in the world.